Now we review a movie about a bad hairdresser. It's called The Heretic. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been watching this channel for some time, you know that I am not a fan of A24 films. There have been a few that I've liked, and most of them I find them to be too slow. I find them to be just not as solid as everybody else does. Maybe it's just my desire to not fit with the crowd, but The Heretic falls into that category. Anyway, for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you be doing your part for a better world. Now, The Heretic is a movie about two girls who become victims of Jigsaw if Jigsaw were a religious nut who thought he was God. And I mean, not like splatter Jigsaw, though. Just some guy that obviously built something ridiculous to prove a point to people. I mean, it's the same premise as Jigsaw of the Saw movies, where it's like he's built this big, huge contraption in order to prove a point to people, but only, instead of a big, huge contraption, he's built something of a couple of rooms that don't put you into a weird situation where you have to make choices. Now, I'm going to grant you that missionaries in general are very annoying, and forcing them to confront their religion is something many of us would like to do. To be fair, okay, understand something, that my bloodline through my father can be traced back to the original Mormons. Alright? So, I believe I have 2 or 3 copies of the Book of Mormon. My grandfather was the last Mormon in the family. And, you know, I have gone to Mormon seminaries, or Mormon churches rather, and I've spoken to Mormons, and I know a good deal about Mormons. But in this movie, when they start pulling out the Monopoly board, I'm like, WTF, bro, WTF. This is a movie that's a lot of talking, and to me it's, I mean, you're not saying anything new or profound. I really don't get what this movie is supposed to be telling me, other than, you know, some people need to believe in God. There is actually in psychology what we call the God neuron. And it's people have actually described it as, you know, almost being a medical condition where some people, they just need for there to be a God for their brain to work right. And if you take the idea of God away from them, they become really nasty people. They start saying, if there's no God, I've got to be him. And they try to manipulate people. And I mean, I've met people like that. So, you know, I'm not here to say which religion is best or anything like that. But I am here to say that religion can be a good or a bad thing. This movie doesn't seem to be making much of a stance on the subject. It just kind of is. And I mean, I don't know if I really find the performances all that interesting. I felt the girls could have used more defining character. I mean, nothing they said was bad. It's just, this movie was 2 degrees away from a stage play. Okay? It had limited locations. It had a lot of talking as opposed to doing. And I don't know why that resonates with people. I mean, it's getting rave reviews, so apparently somebody likes it. But to me, it was just there. So I would still put this, it's a middle of the watch list kind of a thing. I felt that I didn't feel the tension. I don't know why they didn't just bum rush the old man and beat the heck out of him. There were 2 of them. Now, granted, they're Mormons and they're supposed to be nonviolent, but, you know, it's just, This is the problem with these types of movies, and this falls into the "you're making me suspend my disbelief far too far." You know, how does this guy think he's going to get away with it? You know, it's just not how the world works. You know, the story. This is not the first time he's done this in the story, so you know, people don't just go missing anymore. That's something that happened a long time ago and never. It's no longer a thing. You know, it's a lot harder to make people go missing and get away with it. So if he's like keeping captives, like, yeah, okay, we've had stuff happen like that, but it's too much for it to be something that would disappear and go under the radar. So the world outside this story, this is a very private, personal, and destructive story, but it is a story that doesn't have a lot of feasibility to me. I mean, there are things that just don't add up. Anyway, like I say, middle of your watch list. It's competently done, solidly directed, and there's a reasonable amount of tension. It is not a splatter film. It is a horror film that gives you the crisis of faith, but it's still just a movie. So yeah, upper middle of the watch list. Not a terribly great film, but people seem to like it. Seems to be solid. I'm Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Barry, the official strawberry poison dart frog of Random Street Theater. And I'm asking you kindly to comment, like, and subscribe, because doing so will help this channel prosper. And when this channel prospers, they do things like symbolically adopt poison dart frogs like me. And when they do that, it makes our home a better place. Both my home, the forest, and your home, the planet Earth. So, isn't that a good idea? Shouldn't you do that? Come on, you know you're a good person deep down.